Hi folks, John Hecker here again, the pro at Brooklyn Country Club in Rochester, New York. Today I am going to talk about what I feel like is the most important thing in the golf swing. And this is a very dynamic motion. It's called the pivot. I'm going to show you how you can do the motion, you can create the motion without having to think too much about it. I'm afraid it's very difficult to think about it because the swing basically takes 1.2 seconds and 0.2 of that is the downswing. So trying to control too much of that is difficult. But I'm going to use some examples here. I'm going to throw a basketball first sidearm to show you what a pivot is like. And again, this will be a nice exercise for you. All right, so what you're going to see here is you're going to see some movement to the right. I put a line on my head. It's okay to move your head some to the right. I would guess this is probably too much for actually hitting a golf ball. But in this case, when I'm trying to throw a basketball, you'll see that I've got some head movement to the right. I think the other thing I would point out is the head moves down. It is okay to move your head down in your backswing. You never want your head to go up. Then if it does, you lose track of the ball and you also lose your dynamic posture, which is one of the ways you create power. So what you're going to see right here is the pivot. You can see my foot gets replaced on the ground. Now I've created the pivot. The body is leading the ball and it is going to create the release. So you can see my body creates the release, my core, boom, the ball's thrown out of there with velocity. Okay, I'll give you some other examples of this. I mean, it's always kind of interesting to show the person throwing a club, but this is a good way of doing it. Anything sidearm, because it's a game, it's a side-on game, so we actually have to throw things from the side. And you can see I'm going to throw this club. And you can see how my hips and body movement there. That's creating the force. You could actually do this skipping stones off the water. It's the same type of motion, but that's what a pivot is. Now I'm going to give you a down the line view here and kind of emphasize a couple things. The pivot in golf revolves around your arm swinging somewhat around your body. You're also going to feel like your body leads through. You can see my body is bringing the basketball through. And I'm trying to throw the basketball straight. So you want to make sure when you're doing this that you're throwing it at your target. That way you feel like when you're swinging a golf club, you're going to release the golf club at your target. So you can see what the pivot looks like, how it's created. Again, it's a very dynamic motion, so sometimes you're better off doing this through exercises than you are trying to think about it. Again, I'm certainly okay. You can see my head moves down. That is how you create force. And then again, letting the body create the speed and then throwing the club, in this case, right down your target line. So the pivot is the #1 most important thing. Every good player has a pivot. If you hit the ball over 240 yards, chances are you have a good pivot. If you hit it short of that, it might be something to look at, particularly if you hit it weak and to the right. So anyway, this is kind of some exercises that I think you can improve at home. Throwing a medicine ball, I'm trying to give you some other ideas for it, but this is the #1 thing if you're trying to create power in a consistent golf swing, is learning how to pivot properly to help you hit your golf shot. I hope that helps, and I'll see you out on the golf course.